Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Mackenzie Davis. I'm a Maryland realtor and Maryland homeowner, and in today's video we're going to be talking about closing gifts, my personal favorite part of the real estate transaction, because you really get to express your gratitude to your clients, you get to set them up with some nice things to get started in their new home, and you get to show that you really truly connected with them in whatever way that you did. For me, I like to write a nice card, put a little thought into it, maybe add some things that were specific to what we've talked about when we were looking for homes or whatever the case may be. Baskets are my favorite way to do a closing gift because what you guys will notice is that they're the easiest way to throw a few things together and make it look nice. It's practical because people always need baskets to store stuff, and it's just my go-to when I'm making closing gifts. So when we're doing this today, keep in mind that this is fully customizable. You could do this in a billion different ways and it would never be wrong. But these are the things that I typically include just after a few years in the business, doing closings and buying gifts. I find that this works. For the price point too, I would suggest always considering how much you are making on the sale of the house and then making sure that it aligns with that, because if you're selling a $50,000 plot of land, you're probably not going to get someone like a welcome home basket versus if you're selling someone an $800,000 home and it's their first home. That's something that needs a little bit more of a housewarming thing versus maybe a Home Depot gift card or something like that if it's a fixer-upper. You really have to know the situation and just cater to that. But luckily for me, I work with mostly first-time home buyers, so baskets are where my area lies. At the end of the day, it's a gift, and a gift is a gift, and they'll be happy no matter what. They'll just be happy you thought of something. I've heard a lot of horror stories from other realtors, other clients about past experiences where they didn't even get a congratulations text from their realtors. Anything you can do to set yourself apart and be a little bit above and beyond for your clients, I always recommend. Let's just do it. We are on our way to Target to get a closing gift for clients that actually myself and Dan are working with. He's doing the lending work for them. First up, we're at Michael's. They have so many good home decor items and things that like go good in a basket. I typically stay away from decor because I don't know people's styles like that, but the general things they have a lot of. And we love these kinds of price tags. The first thing I look for is a basket, but I don't really know if I like this one. This is perfect. Like literally perfect. This is the basket we're going with. It's kind of big, but oh well. I like picking out stuff like this that is like little and random. I'm laughing out loud because someone took our cart, so now I have to go get everything again. But at least we're at the beginning of our shopping journey and not the end, I guess. Definitely need one of these candles. Let's see which one. Pretty sure I got this exact candle for my last closing gift, and I have it at my house too, but I love this smell. This matches the thingies. The two baskets that I have in front of me right now, which I'll show you guys a little bit more in depth, are for two closings that I have coming up this month in June. One is for my grandparents, which is super exciting. They're purchasing a condo and moving back home to Annapolis, where I'm from. Currently, they live 2 hours away, so selling their house was really great. It was a challenge, but it was great because it was over by the beach. Now we're getting them the house that they're purchasing, which is a condo. So I'm giving them this nice little basket. My mom and I actually picked out all this stuff together because we co-listed and co-represented them on those purchases. And then we have another basket, which is for first-time home buyers who are actually people I think from TikTok is how they found me, which is really cool. I tell you guys a lot of times that I work almost exclusively with people that have found me through social media, so it's really cool to be able to give back to you guys and to show you guys because it's all very full circle in that way. I think we'll start first with the first-time homebuyer basket just because this is more of my staple of what usually goes in a basket. My grandparents is a little bit more personalized. We'll talk about that one second. First things first, get a nice big basket, right? I always think about like the size, like I want a blanket to be able to fit in here and then have some things kind of sit on top of it because that's how I'm going to structure the basket. So I always look for something that's going to be sizable enough to fit that in. This one was 50% off at Michael's, so you can find them for not too expensive, but actually having like nice good quality too. So you don't have to sacrifice for that. Target has great baskets. I mean, you can really find them everywhere, but that's the one we're going to be using for this basket. I'm just going to cut off all the tags and make sure that it looks all nice and presentable. Then, like I mentioned, I want the blanket to take up like a majority of the bottom because I'm actually going to like rest stuff on top of it. We'll put it right there and kind of set it up so that it's facing upwards. Things can surround it too. The next thing I got were these little hand towels. They were in one of those Target sections with like the cute home decor. I just thought that they were a nice little touch for this basket. They had a mug that matched. Obviously they go together, but I just thought it was a really cute neutral color. Everybody likes green and blue. It's not too much of an assumption to make. I don't like to make assumptions about many things when it comes to these because I don't want to assume I know someone's style better or that I like know what they would like in their house. So try to stick with the more neutral things. We also got this big old candle. I gave this candle to my last closing as well, and I have this burning downstairs right now. I don't know what it is about the lavender cashmere, but it smells super good. So I'm gonna pop that right in there. Now these are the main gifts that I have for the basket. However, I'm also going to include a thank you card, which will likely fit like right here. And then something I'm doing for the first time ever is making a custom binder for first time home buyer necessity stuff. And I haven't printed anything yet, but it's gonna go right back here and have like a nice little cover on it that says their names and everything as well. I even got some protector sheets to go inside of it so that it'll be really nicely put together. I find that my first time home buyers end up texting me a bunch after closing, which is totally fine. But I think that having something like this as like a guide for what kind of stuff, you know, you might want to expect or what to do after closing, like when I stop holding your hand and we don't keep talking every day like we have been for the previous months. So that's what I'm going to do with this binder. But otherwise, this basket is complete. Basket number 2 is for my grandparents. As I mentioned, this one is a little bit more personalized, and I'll explain why and like what I mean by that as we go through. First things first, let's cut this tag off. Obviously, this is not a first-time home buyer basket. My grandparents have owned quite a few homes, so this is just a gratitude basket. We went with a theme because my grandparents are moving from the beach, and they've always had a beach house. So we tried to stick with that and essentially made like a little beach theme. We know my grandma likes that kind of decor because she has a bunch of it already. And so it was easy enough to just, you know, stick with what we know. I feel like when you know somebody like your grandma, you can kind of make those assumptions when maybe if it was someone you didn't know as well, you wouldn't want to do that. The things that I like are when you can have like slight hints to the theme, like these towels for either the bathroom or for the kitchen have little fish on them, but they're also very neutral, so they're nice and cute, nothing like too flashy. Same with this soap, so this has a nice little shell on the front, a subtle nod to the beach. We also got this candle for them, and it has a seashell on the front and also the top. It smells good. I like to put that like right in the front. And I always put glass stuff, I make sure it's like situated nice onto a blanket because I have had horror stories where things have broken because they were not in the right places. So that's something else to keep in mind, is like the placement of where your things are gonna go. And to finish this basket off, we have this cute little seashell. We put it on top of a dresser or like as decor. It just sits out and looks cute. You could put it in a bowl or something. We did get them a special card instead of the typical thank you. It's just like a congrats on your new home little thing. Even has a slot for keys, so that'll go somewhere in there too. They're not getting a binder, of course, because like I said, they don't need pointers. In fact, they're people I would call for pointers. And that's it. It really doesn't take that long to put together a nice and heartfelt closing gift for someone, for a client, or whoever it is, this for business even, but I love to allow myself to put this creativity into play and just like create something that I think that they're gonna enjoy or that might set them up for, a good start in their new home. So without further ado, that is it for this week's video, and I'm curious to know how you guys like the vlog style content kind of mixed in there too. I like making that content best. It's just easier for me to do and more fun to think of ideas for, so trying to start getting my ideas flowing for how I can incorporate like educational stuff into that. So let me know how you think I did and if there's anything else that you want to see. I'll see you guys next Friday. Bye.